Okay, guys, let's go ahead and continue on. So, first, I would like to let everyone know the purpose of this event. Um, to me, the purpose of this event is to educate the public on the missing pandemic. So, when I say missing pandemic, I mean how many people are missing in this area, in the country, and in other countries. So, just to give you some statistics about missing people, let's talk about how Nike, Google, and Starbucks makes less money than the people that are missing in our country at this time. So we can say that, of course, the second largest capital, people that are making money, is human trafficking and missing persons. So that's how crucial it is. We can talk about COVID 19 and how many people are missing, have COVID 19, but there's more people missing than people that have COVID 19. So, which is the pandemic, COVID 19 or missing people? Missing people. But you won't know that until it happens to you or it happens in your family. Thrice in our family has it happened. We have Tanaya Leonard that went missing, my little cousin. We have Kaya Taylor that's been missing, which is my sister. And we also have Johnny Hunt that's missing, which is my brother in law in our family. So it's not just something that happens sporadically, this is something that happens continuously. Um, I just want to ask this question. Well, I'm kind of biased because we're all in this together, but how many people know someone that's missing? Or let's just make it a little better. You know somebody that knows somebody that's missing. You can say 100% of people know somebody that's missing or either knows somebody that's missing, right? So this is why I felt that it was so important to do this event. We need to let everyone know this is not just something that happens to white people. This is not something that happens to Mexican people. This is not something that happens to black people. This is something that crosses all genres, that crosses all races. It doesn't matter. We're all missing. Somebody knows somebody that's missing. For me, I think it's important to understand all facets of the missing. And when I talk about that, I talk about domestic violence. I can say for certain that my sister is missing due to domestic violence. I can say most of the people that I know that are missing due to domestic violence. We can also talk about kidnapping. I think my sister's disappearance has a lot to do with kidnapping as well. I think my cousin's disappearance has a lot to do with kidnapping. Um, I think a lot of people in the area of people that I know are missing has a lot to do with kidnapping. So we'll talk about domestic violence. We're talking about kidnapping. We're talking about sexual assault. We're talking about runaways. To me, that's very important because people that run away are kids or adults or whatever that run away is part of the missing pandemic. It all ties in together. So I think as a whole, we need to come together and understand that it takes more than just, I got up and left because I wanted to, or my boyfriend beat me up and took me away, to, okay, somebody just took me, right? Right. So with that being said, I am going to, for me, so this was the definition of what we're doing this event for. Secondly, I feel like it's important to have a history of what we did to make the pandemic not so pandemic back in the days. Like, why is it so hard right now for all of our missing people to be so coming up missing right now? But back in the 60s and 70s, we didn't have that. Not as much as you have it right now, correct? So I am going to ask my friend and comrade, Hi Thurman. Uh, I'm not going to introduce him. I'm going to tell you his name and I'm going to let him introduce himself to tell about what they did back in the day to make sure that our people weren't missing.
Wow, that makes me feel old. Yesterday was my birthday. As I told Katrina and Lonnie, I'm not old, I'm chronologically gifted. But yeah, I'm Hy Thurman. The reason I'm here is thank you for inviting me. Um, I've been into community organizing for 50 years. I started out when I was 17 years old as a migrant, going to Chicago from Tennessee to find a better job. And at that time, it was almost like a migration circle that people went into to get, to get jobs. And there were people that came up missing, but I'm also one of the co-founders of the Young Patriot Organization and the original Rainbow Coalition with Fred Hampton and others. The reason for that was we had gotten really tired of being, uh, physically abused by the cops, slum landlords, poverty, and fighting urban renewal that was taking away our homes. The particular community I was in was mostly Southern white, of people that had moved from the South. And I've got an audience over here. That's not the first time my speech went to the dogs. But, we were kids. And what we're saying is, you don't need a whole bunch of people to make a change. A change can be made with just a few people. And we were probably 5 or 6 of us. We were teenagers, running around the streets because we couldn't get any jobs. We were in a gang. And we band together to help our community. Why? Because there was nothing else for us to do. But back in those days, and you probably hear about Chicago now. Chicago is one of the most brutal places for police brutality and one of the most segregated, racist cities in the country, and that's what it was then. And we started organizing in our community and was eventually noticed by the Black Panther Party in Chicago. That was Fred Hampton and Bobby Rush. They had established free health clinics, and legal clinics, and breakfast for children programs, a lot of things. And we as Southern whites, we respected them because we didn't consider ourselves to be anywhere near white supremacists, but we considered ourselves to be revolutionaries. And we were kids. So we started working in our community and we were recognized by the Black Panther Party. And they were like, I can't believe these white, hillbillies are so radical. And they were talking anti-racism. And they were talking classism. And so they recognized us along with the Young Lords, which is a gang that turned political. And it was Jose Chacha Manez and they started doing pretty much the same thing in their community. So we were asked to come into a coalition with them, and that turned out to be the Rainbow Coalition. And we said, "Wow, you know, we're a bunch of Southern people." And I had approached Fred Hampton at one point and said, "Why on earth would you accept me into your organization? My people have enslaved your people. My people have killed your people. My people have done ungodly things to the women, and separated people and sold them." And he said, "I know you're racist." He said, "but I know you're trying not to be." And so uh, he welcomed that. He welcomed us into that coalition. The other thing was we we wore the Confederate flag, which created some controversy. uh, but we wanted to use a racist symbol to get to racist people. And so, the Black Panthers recognized that. They said, if that's what it takes to organize, then that's what it takes to organize, because we know you guys are, you know, trying to work toward the revolution. And we'd have a flag on our berets or jacket, and then we'd have a Black Power button next to it, or, a Free Huey, something like that. And it brought up some conversations because of the contradiction. And we knew what we were getting into. Sometimes we were threatened by, white supremacists, but there were some American Nazis trying to come into our community, and it didn't work out very well for them. We made sure they didn't stay. And so, for instance, and you want to know how we use this flag, it wasn't anything that we continued, but we used it at the beginning. We'd go into a bar, for instance. I went into a bar and got into a discussion with a man that I knew was a Klan member, a white supremacist, and he thought that he was much better than the black folks. And so I said, "Look at this. I don't understand why you're thinking that way." I said, "What would you do if your child got sick and needed an organ transplant, and the only one available was from a person of color? What would you do?" He said, "Well, I guess I'd take it." And I said, "Well, what's the difference here? We're all the same on the inside. It's only you that's creating the problem that people are different." Okay, so that's just a part of what we went through, but we did set up free health clinics, uh, breakfast for children programs, legal clinics, and some of them going on to this day. But we were targeted by the FBI. So and Fred Hampton was assassinated, and J. Edgar Hoover, the FBI. Several memos that we've came across was uh, that there was a black messiah that needed to be neutralized, along with other groups that have similar politics, and they named the Young Patriots, in which I was in, and the Young Lords. So they came down on us pretty hard. All of us had members murdered. A lot of us were in jail, and they, implemented the war on gangs. And so with Fred Hampton, the way the coalition worked was kind of interesting because let's say, for instance, the Young Lords or the Panthers wanted the Young Patriots to come in and help them. We would automatically shun our titles as Young Patriots, and we would become a Panther or we would become a Young Lord. And therefore, we were a part of their organization for that time, and they would tell us what to do. We would question. Um, we provided security for the Black Panthers. and there's an iconic picture showing a Black Panther in his leather jacket and a young patriot next to him with a Confederate flag on his back. And we were, providing security for them. But, he was assassinated. And then, our politics lived on, and we did have people missing. We had people in our community that was ending up missing. Some of that was from black ops sites by the police. And people would just disappear. And where did they go? And so one of the things that we did in some of our community meetings was to try to identify people in each of these blocks in our community that would be on the lookout for, anybody that's coming into the community that they didn't know. And we did prevent some of this from happening. We prevented some of the, we actually prevented some of the domestic violence because we would talk to the, mostly to the husbands. Because in a southern, in the southern culture of white people, they'll go to the Bible and they'll, talk about how a woman is only supposed to be a help for the man, and a slave should be true to the master. Okay, that's not good. And we said, okay, we may be raised in the, in the Christian tradition, but there's something about this that we don't like, that we don't agree with. So we would talk to people about that, and we would give people alternatives to where they could get help. And so, we were even fighting arson. They were burning down our neighborhood. We had some of our kids killed as a result. I think there were around 26 people killed in these arsons. But we stood up to them, and after Fred Hampton was assassinated, most of us had to go underground, and I stayed underground for a long time. But everywhere I would go, I had to go back to my hometown. I was targeted. Some of our members were killed in the process, only because we associated with the Black Panthers and the radical revolutionary politics. And but our politics lived on. And Harold Washington was elected the first black mayor of Chicago. And that was because of the Rainbow Coalition platform that he ran on and classes. Bobby Rush, who was one of the founders of the Rainbow Coalition and the Black Panthers in Chicago, became a congressman, and he's a congressman today. That brought somebody to town named Barack Obama. And Barack Obama eventually used the rainbow politics to be elected as president of the United States. And so it all correlates right back into that small group of people that had changed politics around the country. We didn't know that. We didn't know that. We were just trying to survive. But we did take a stand on, and trying to find missing people. We prevented some of that, and we prevented a lot of domestic violence, because we just would not tolerate that. We had women in our organization, and they would, consult with other women in the community, and we were also involved in women's liberation, so that was a big step too. As chauvinistic as us Southerners were, we were siding with the women's liberation, not only that, gay liberation, which kind of set us aside from a lot of other organizations at that time. But anyway, I just want to let you know a little bit of the history about what's happened, and it's a snowball effect. You know, with this Rainbow Coalition, there is a new second Rainbow Coalition now that I'm glad that I've lived long enough to see. And I think someone else is going to tell you about that. Is Kwame coming up?
Thank you.
Kwame and I, yeah, Kwame and I have been on the book tour. It's called um, the Unity Book Tour, actually. We've been traveling around. We went on the West Coast, and we're all organizations together through our book tour. He's written the book, and I wrote the book. So his is uh, Searching for Answers, Truth and Meaning, and mine is called Revolutionary Hillbilly. You know, so we've been traveling around the country, you know, and we have to have security where we go too, because there's a lot of people. Someone did get shot up from the place where we were too. So anyway, I'll shut up here.
It's okay. Thank you guys for giving us that informative history. Just to let you know a little bit about Kaya's disappearance. After we found out that Kaya was missing, we did find out that her boyfriend was a member of the Aryan Brotherhood. So I'm not sure if you guys know what the Aryan Brotherhood is, but it is actually a white supremacist group. Um, with that being said, we'll also talk about the phone that we found, not the one that was found on the ground when her car was missing, but an old one that we found. And we know that Kaya was trafficked by her boyfriend um, for the amount of time that they were together. So that's why this is so important to me to understand every facet of people that are missing: domestic violence, sexual assault, kidnapping, runaways. To me, it is an encompass of everything that has happened to all of our missing people. Um, so I'm sitting up here trying to decide if I want my husband to talk first because he's long-winded, or if I should have the other family member to talk. Uh, so just to give you a background about Kaya, Kaya came up missing February 6th of 2020. Her car was found running and abandoned on a railroad track in Plant City, Florida on February 6th. The last time that Kaya was actually seen in person was February 3rd, which was yesterday. So 3 years yesterday. Um, on February 6th, on Trapner Road, her car was found running and abandoned, where her driver's side door was open and her cell phone was found on the ground in that open car door. Kaya has not been seen or heard from ever since. Um, the police actually came, found her car, moved it on the side of the road where it sat for 3 days before any of us knew what happened. Kaya's mom actually reached out to our elder, Aunt Sherry, and asked if we had saw Kaya. Kaya actually had stayed the weekend before her disappearance with our sister, who now lives in Texas, but she was actually in Tampa with our sister. Uh, and after that, again, Kaya has not been seen or heard from since then. We have, well, I'll say the police have found actually videos and still pictures of Kaya being in a sex shop with Jason Roberts, who is her quote unquote boyfriend. And she is seen taking money out of her ATM, out of her card, from her card, and of course, again, I'm going to say nothing has been seen or heard from Kaya since then, even with her bank card. No social media, no issues with her bank cards. She has not been seen or heard from ever since then. Kaya's not like that. Just to let you know, And I hate to say this because people don't understand it. We as a culture do not see half brothers, step brothers, but we don't do that. That's my sister, that's my brother, and that's how we get down. Period. Uh, but me and Kaya have different moms. We have the same dad. So when Kaya came up missing, of course, she was with her mom's side of the family. And I'm from her dad's side of the family. Kaya is of mixed race. Again, we don't care. That's my sister. That's our cousin. That's our niece. That's our nephew. That's how we roll. But at the same time, we don't get the information that we're supposed to have or that we need to have from our side of the family, her paternal side. But we're not going to go there. Kaya's missing, period, point blank. That's what it boils down to. Okay. We're going to talk to a family of a woman that actually came up missing 3 weeks before Kaya's car was found and 6 miles away from where Kaya's car was found. Her name is Veronica Reyes Diaz. Veronica, I'm going to let Veronica's mom and dad actually talk about Veronica. Um, let's have Veronica's mom, Tina, talk about Veronica. Don't make me cry. Because this is important, okay? Because for me, Veronica came up missing again 2 weeks before Kaya came up missing, 6 miles away from where her car was found, and they found her car, moved it to the side of the road, and this mother of three was missing. How do you do that? How do you move a car to the side of the road when you already know somebody's missing? How do you do that? It doesn't make sense. This is Tina. This is Veronica's mom. She's going to talk about Veronica.
Never had to do this, so bear with me. Veronica was my firstborn. She showed me what love was like, what real love is. The day she came up missing, my heart went in shatters. I can't find my daughter. She's a virgin of me and her dad together. She had 3 little boys that she loved to death. She wouldn't get up and go. But the only person that needs answers, me and her dad can handle it, but her babies need answers. Because they don't know how to handle it. Not my youngest, but my middle grandson is having it hard. They get picked on in school. No kid should have to go through this. And whatever it takes, like she said, just gotta help find whoever's missing. It might not be ours, but it'd be somebody else's family. That's the only thing that matters. I don't care what race. Her dad's Spanish, I'm white. I don't care. I date black guys. I don't care. Everybody deserves to be found. Everybody deserves to be loved. But anybody that has kids and is missing, those babies need answers more than any of us. I'm grown. We can deal with it. We can sit in the corner and cry. But those babies don't know how. And to get picked on at school because they wear their mom's shirt is not right. They're hurt. They don't know how to handle it. Me and the grandpa, we try everything we can to make sure they have a normal life, but it's hard because you don't know how to tell these kids that there's a chance their mom might not ever come back. But whoever did this, and I know who did it, we all know who did it because she had a controlling husband. Everybody deserves to be found. And I'll tell you, like I tell anybody, don't ever expect the unexpected because it can happen to you, it can happen to anybody. So all we can do now is be together and support each other. I don't have family here. My kids are my family. To know I can't see my daughter every day makes me want to lay down and give up. When she was gone for that 3-year mark, it took me a whole week to get myself together, to get back up and act like everything's okay, because in real life, it's not. So all I can say is we just support each other. I don't have that support. So when she touched bases with me, I said, why not? If it can help find my daughter, your sister, your brother, then let's do it. Because that's the only thing that's important. I'm not rich, but my daughter is human just like everybody else. She loved her kids. She would never give it up. So all we are doing is going nationwide to beg for help to find our family members. I want my daughter home. I go nights without sleeping. I just want my firstborn, the one person that showed me what true love was. Because I didn't know that until the day I had her. Because no matter what relationship you go through, your kids are always there. They're always going to love you. Just please put it out there that our family members are missing. That's the only thing that matters. We all got to pitch in and do this together, because if not, somebody's going to get hurt. Somebody's going to go crazy. And I'm probably the first one to go crazy not seeing my daughter. I have my good days and I have my bad days. I have my days when I go to work crying and I have to let people know that, no, I'm not okay. But then they get scared to ask you if everything's what's going on, or they try to change the subject. I don't want you to change the subject. I want it to be known that all these people are missing and they all deserve to be loved and found. I'm sorry for keeping on. Just all we can do is stay together.
Benicio, you're up. Benicio is Veronica's dad. I don't think it's a dry eye in the house. Is it?
I'm Fidencio, Veronica's father. On at 3:35 on a Sunday, I received a text message from her husband asking me where my daughter was at. I knew her whereabouts, which, you know, myself had a great weekend that weekend, and so I didn't even think twice about it. You know, I'm thinking she probably had an argument, she went out for some steam or something. And he told me she never came home before that Friday night. So I started texting her sisters, her mom, which, you know, nobody's heard from. And so, you know, I was being doubtful. You know, still they're arguing, or, you know, she's going some steam. So I kept going on one day, you know, come Monday, went to work, and just pondered on, you know, the question he asked me. And of course, you know, overthinking things, your mind goes into darkness. You know, you start thinking the worst. So we finally decided to report her missing. and she was reported missing on Tuesday. I went through her laptop, looked at her laptop, and I found her whereabouts, where she went, what she did. You know, I pretty much became the detective that we didn't have to begin with. And when police officers finally showed up, I tried giving them her laptop and all that information I found, which they denied them. They didn't want nothing. Told us that they didn't need them. And next to Veronica's house, it was Catholics. They said they didn't need that either. So pretty much, you know, they didn't take it serious. You know, pretty much told us she's a grown adult, she's born not Christian stuff. And as a father, as a parent, you know your kids, you know, better than anybody else. I would speak to my daughter on a daily basis, whether it was something serious or something silly. And she would speak to her mom, so, you know, we know our kids. Well, it took the police like, let's say, five to 6 months before they started doing some investigation into it. And, you know, once we did our own digging also, we found out, you know, it was a horrible relationship they were in. He was over controlling, she wanted out, but you know, as someone who does not live in the home, you don't know what goes on behind closed doors. Which, you know, if as a father you should, but you know, she didn't live with me, so it's kind of hard. And if I would have known that, I guarantee you she used to be with me. But you know, I can't blame myself. If I do, I live in darkness always. It's just now there's too many red flags out there. They go towards the husband, and the police refuse to do anything about it. So, you know, here we are 3 years later, and and after I found out Kaya disappeared, you know, I tried to reach out to family, you know, because I knew exactly where they were going. You know, whether it was the mom, sisters, aunts, and the only person that responded to me was Katrina. And I told her, you know, we have to work as one. You know, two people missing that city, we have to make noise. You know, make our missing known. And you know, and that's where we're at now.
I'll tell you, I know I couldn't do it without Fidencio because there's a lot of times I want to go shoot up, bang, bang, kick people's ass, all that stuff. And I reach out to Fidencio, he's like, no, calm down, sister. We gonna be okay. He's like the yin to my yang. Even when my husband can't calm me down, I can reach out to Fidencio and he like, yeah, slow it down, sister, slow it down. Um, so to top it off about Veronica, she's a mother of 3, right?
Yeah.
When she went missing, how old was her youngest?
1.
How does a mother of 3 go missing from the house that you live in with this husband? Okay. We'll just go a little bit further. I don't know if you guys want to tell it, but I'll tell it. Her husband and the kids went fishing 15, 20 minutes off the Skyway Bridge. How many people go fishing? How many people go fishing for 15 minutes off the Skyway Bridge? The Skyway Bridge, Florida, you're going to get it down for at least 2 or 3 hours, period. But that's all I'm going to say about that. So, let's talk again about the present. We'll talk about Tanaya that came up missing, who is also my cousin, and her mom, Miranda, is here and she will come and talk. No, you are last. You are last right now. Because after this, we're going to talk about what we're doing in the present or going to do in the present to fix this. Okay? To fix our missing loved ones. You're last.
Hello, everybody. My name is Miranda. My daughter, Tanaya Leonard, is missing, and she's been missing for 20 years. I was 17 when her father battered me and took her. We haven't seen her since 2002. Um, it's been a Yeah, so and Kaya is my cousin as well, my first cousin. Also their birthdays are on the same day. Um, it's been a long, excuse me, because I have kids in here as well. It's been a long journey. Um, I've been called murderer. I've been called everything that you can be called. Um, by people. Um, Never really had anyone to help me. Remind you, I was 17 years old when this guy took my child. I was in the process of getting a blood test. I believe that he found the papers, and because of his obsession with me, he took my daughter. Um, it hurts so bad. Like you said, your firstborn. I have 10 kids. Um, and every child after my first child, they took from me. I have a daughter here now. Excuse me. I have a daughter here now. That she was taken by DCF because I had a missing daughter. I may have contributed to that, being that because I like to be honest, and I have a book coming out as well. But I kept dealing with the father, and I kept dealing with him because the police would not do anything. And being that I knew that he was obsessed with me, I would have ate his bowel movements, and I'm just being honest, for him to tell me what my daughter is. So all of my kids were taken. I did get them back, and we found someone that we think that may have been my daughter. They told us after almost 8 months that she was not, but they won't show me any lab results. So it's still there that I believe it's so many coincidences and reasons why I believe that this young lady could be my daughter. But the not knowing, we all are familiar with that, and that's what hurts the most. Um, what people say does not hurt me. The way people view me does not hurt me. What hurts is not knowing what my daughter is for 20 years. Um, she was taken at 11 months, and I may not have done what people think that I should have done, but yet again, I was 17. I didn't have much help that, a person these days may have. We didn't even have social media. If we did, and cameras in the apartment complex back then, they probably would have found my daughter. So I'm going to say this to all of you guys. No matter what the outcome is, please stay strong. Like I say, I have a story that's so unique. The only way I made it is through God. Okay, I didn't have one child missing, I had two, and she's sitting right over there for 18 years. I just met my daughter last year. Actually, last year, February, and she's 19. So, and I knew that the Lord would reunite me, and I do feel that I'll be reunited with Tanaya as well, because I believe that my daughter is alive and well, and the Lord is going to reveal it all. So you all just stay strong. You know, that's my advice to you all.
I did not think about this, but I think it is very important to actually have Miranda's mom and T to come up here because they were by Miranda's side when she went through all this at this tender age of 17. So, Teresa and Sandy, can you please come up here and talk about that experience? Okay, so we'll just have Teresa talk about it.
Hello, everyone. My name is Teresa, and Miranda is my daughter, my firstborn. Tanaya is my first grandchild. Um, it's been a long time, and it's been a really, really rough road. Um, and my main frustration is not just with the police department, but with people in the community that I believe have information that they've just held back. Um, this a missing child is a missing child, but an infant is definitely not just walking away by herself. Tanaya was not walking at that time. She was 11 months and she was toddling around, but she had not taken her first steps. So there's no way that she just walked off. Um, I have my own ideas about what happened, and I do believe, Trina, that trafficking may very well have been involved. I believe, what I believe is that the father was afraid that he wasn't the father. And because he was so possessive of my daughter, he decided to take her. He had said several times that he was going to take her, that him and his mom was going to take her from me and Miranda. And when it happened, um, you know, I gave her back to Miranda. And Miranda's like, no, he didn't. And he didn't give her back to Miranda. She was living with me at the time. But anyway, what I think happened is that I believe that I don't believe that he set out to sell her or get rid of her or what have you. But when she first went missing, him being the father, he was not even, they told him if he would just bring the child back, then he would not be prosecuted. But I believe because his mother was an RN, I believe that they did a blood test on the child and found out the child wasn't hers. Now he's got this girl's child. And I believe at some point that she was maybe sold to somebody. Um, this guy is also into voodoo. I mean, at one point, the apartment where she went missing, I get a phone call one day. This was several years after it happened, and I get a call and they're like, they found the baby out there in the apartment, which was I didn't believe it because I still believe that she's alive. Um, but when I called the detective and he's like, no, that's not what was in there, but there was some kind of something in there that was made of paper mache. So there were people that were trying to put things in place to make us think that something, I mean, there's just so many people that know what happened, that are involved. Um, and this trafficking thing, little babies are a hot commodity. Okay, and I believe that's what happened. And I'm gonna say this really quick, and then I'm gonna be done. But in 2020, the year that Kaya went missing, as a matter of fact, the same month that Kaya went missing, I was working in a doctor's office. I'm a medical assistant. I was actually working as a medical receptionist at the time. And they had sent me up to Haines City to train on the system that they had. So the only way to navigate the system is to put in a birthday. So I'm practicing on their system, and I decided to put in my granddaughter's birthday. And this little girl comes up, and I get a name. She's got the same birthday. So of course I go, like everybody does, go to social media to see if she got a page. She did have a page. And at this time, the page, it was a few years old. But this girl looked like my mother's grandchild. Okay. She would have been my mother's great grandchild, but she looked like she could be related to my mom. And so I started doing a lot of searching, and we found pictures, and um, it, they're telling the police, we finally got them to do a blood test. They said it wasn't her. But because they were running around like the Keystone Cops, and she's no longer actually a missing child. She's actually a missing adult now because it's been so long. And they don't have to tell us the truth. They don't have to give us any information. And that is what's really frustrating. The people that know that aren't saying anything, and then the cops who know things and don't want, if we share information, then we might be able to find some of these missing people. But the cops want to sit on it because they think I'm a suspect, Miranda's a suspect, the whole family's a suspect. My granddaughter, my second granddaughter, was taken from us because they found our whole family unfit because we were suspects. Not to mention that later on they decided to go ahead and give us the other kids. But it's been a real hard struggle. My dad told me one night when we were praying for Tanaya, it was about a year after she had gone missing, and we were praying at my mom's house. And my mom always did the praying. My dad never really did the praying, but this particular night he prayed. And I can remember him turning around to me and he says, after he prayed and amen, and he turns around and he says, you're going to be reunited with your granddaughter. And he turned to Miranda and he said, you're going to be reunited with your daughter. And at that moment, the lightning struck so loud, bam! And it just started pouring down raining. Now, the family members that were there that night, it was phenomenal. Okay, so I've always had in my heart the belief what my dad told me is that we were going to find her. So I have not stopped searching. And I'm so proud of my niece that she jumped in when her sister went missing, and she's just jumped in wholeheartedly, her and her husband, and they're just going all across the country and making a movement. And just like the gentleman said, it only takes a few people. And this is important. It's important to share information, and it's important to hold the police accountable. Because actually, in my heart, I don't have the time to share all the information with y'all, but there was a time when before they did the actual DNA test that I was like, I was gonna be more surprised if it wasn't her than if it was, because this girl is identical. We even have video of her laughing, and her laugh is exactly like Miranda's. This is crazy. The only way for us to know for sure would be to get with the young lady and do a DNA test on our own, because the police don't have to tell us anything. And if they hide behind investigation. I can't tell you, Katrina, anything about Kaya because it's an open investigation. So Veronica, we can't tell you anything about Veronica because we're still investigating. Hey, you might have stole her car and did something with her. I mean, this is bull crap, but this is the stuff that we have to deal with. So it's gonna take family members searching, people like this group getting together and finding our family members, because the police are not gonna do it for us. They're just not. they're more concerned with looking good. And that's all they're really concerned about. And I'm glad to see everybody here tonight. Trina, I think you've done a wonderful job, girl. I'm so proud of you. I love you so much. Keep doing it.
I just want to piggyback on what she said about the police not doing their job. I think I can talk first about Veronica and her case. When Veronica came up missing, her dad broke into her MacBook, right? Her Chromebook, sorry. Um, you know, when you go in the Chromebook, it shows everywhere you went on your Google Maps or whatever, right? So he tried to give that to them, and I think he said that up here. He tried to give that to the police, and the police said, what? We don't need it. Can't use it. Why you can't use it? It shows you everywhere this woman went that night, and you can't use it? Like, what? What?
What I asked for,
5
5 months later.
months later. 5 months later, wow.
Why make somebody disappear? Why make somebody disappear and I have 5 months? We have a trail. Come on.
Absolutely. And this is a daughter, a mother, a sister that has gone missing. Like, what kind of mess is that? And I think just recently they told you, even though it's an open investigation, that they're not even looking into it anymore. This is her 3rd year missing. 2 weeks before Kaya went missing. She's
So why are they not looking anymore?
They said they hated that. This is the only time they'll talk to us now. If somebody finds her. Somebody finds her on the side of the
Or
road.
you have your own lead, right?
even with our own leads, they don't take
They
it.
actually said this.
Said right there, no lead her, no lead. So I told him, once you close the case, once you make a close case, any FBI go, any private eye can go in there, look at the case, and get all the information. But until then, nobody can get the information about that. No, they won't close it. Cause I feel like if they close it, and a PI goes in there and finds,
Yeah.
it looks stupid.
Yeah. And that is something they don't want to do.
Exactly.
It looks stupid. And so, and they don't, like I said before, they don't have to tell us anything. And that's what really just
Makes you wanna go there and
Oh
do
my God.
things.
Oh my God.
And then on top of that, they won't call the FBI to come in and help because there's nothing the FBI can do that the sheriff, county, police, or whatever can't do. Yeah, so that's our plight. Yeah, it's kind of crazy. But we're gonna have a Q&A after this. Right now, I think I'll have my husband talk. And he's going to talk about the Second Rainbow Coalition and what they can and will do to help us to stop the plight of the missing. 2 minutes.
Done. Everyone heard that saying, it takes a community, a village to raise a child. Well, I say it takes a community to maintain a community. Everybody here was talking about how a lot of people know, but not giving up any information to the family. There's information to be had out there, but ones ain't talking. The domestic situation with us, all of these situations was domestic. You know what I'm saying? Nobody intervened in the community in these situations, even though it might have been people that was watching what some of these things was going on, which got me to get thinking because I started off, this how everybody know I met Katrina. And it was just thrown into my lap. I've never did any cases around, it was always around police brutality. That's easy. Shut down the streets. You know what I mean? Put pressure on them. You know what I mean? Do your job, lock them up, indict them. You know what I mean? But what do you do when somebody's missing? You know what I mean? So it got me to thinking more and more as this went on. And we in Black History Month, right? So I want to preach about a little Black history related to what High Thurman was talking about. When I look back in with the Panthers, with the Young Lords, with the Young Patriots, also with the street organizations like the Vice Lords, the GDs, the Stones. This was in Chicago going on where you didn't have as much of a problem like it is today. You know what I mean? We had institutions in our community that will watch the community. You didn't want to say protect the community. They was forced in this situation because up in Chicago and High Thurman talking about it himself, they dealt with a lot of the white supremacy that was going on. So they didn't have no choice but to protect their communities from these racist pigs. You know what I'm saying? From these different police officers that was coming in all their neighborhoods harassing them. From some of the white supremacist gangs that was chasing off the young lords, fighting, trying to fight the Black Panthers and stuff like that, but they protected their community. They was forced to. That's why they came together. You know what I'm saying? So when we think about this, think about we already had the problem right in front of us, the solution. We need to get back what we lost. We don't have community no more. We don't talk to the next door neighbor. We don't know what grandma down the street, what her meds, is she taking her meds. We don't talk to people out here. We don't have those relationships. You know what I'm saying? Because we don't need the police if we have the community. That's the best intelligence right there on the ground. Boots on the ground. They know who the drug dealers is. They know who the human traffickers in the community is. And they drive them off when they had those individuals in those communities. We don't have that no more. You know what I'm saying? So the solution is right in our face. And we got to look in the mirror and see what are we doing to contribute to building and rebuilding relationships in the community. That's what got me to thinking. I said, you know what? 2021, when I watched the first Rainbow Coalition, being Black History Month again, right? I read a lot of books in prison. This history wasn't in none of the books. Why? Because it was about building community. It was about us being the solution to all of our problems. You know what I mean? That's why it wasn't in there. Because once the people come together, we have the power to solve the problems in our own community. They don't want us to realize that. They don't want us to realize the power that we have right amongst us. So after I watched that first Rainbow Coalition and saw what this model that was put together, I said, you know what? We about to do it again. We about to do it again. So we formed the second Rainbow Coalition, May 14, 2021. And High Thurman heard about it. He's one of the original Rainbow Coalition. These are the people I was reading about in prison. Now we're working with them. You know what I'm saying? Helping guide us. You know what I'm saying? For the community to maintain itself. Not just to raise a child, but to maintain itself. You know what I'm saying? To look out for itself, to answer its own problems that the police is not going to do. This is actually how the system works. It's been showing us that for 400 years. We just ain't been accepting. But we got to accept that we right here can be the solution to the problem. You know what I'm saying? So the point I'm trying to get at is that as we go on, it's a process building a movement. And I'm realistic. It's a protracted thing. We got to the point where we brought the Brown Berets. We united with the Brown community. We united with the new era young lords that's doing the same thing they did back in the days. We united with the White Panthers. We united with the Poor People's Army. We united with the Green Party of New Jersey. And we're going to keep on growing. But the thing is, we're going to keep on building community. So we start protecting ourselves. So we can start this can be preventative wherever we at. We're going to keep on growing because this is a crisis that can only be solved by us. You know what I mean? Only can be solved by us. And we went so far, and this one thing I respect about Fred Hampton. He was a genius, 21 years old. That's why they assassinated him, because he had the vision of solving our problem. And he didn't want us to start teaching everybody in all of our oppressed community that you are the solution. That's the key. You. Everybody around is the solution to the problem. It's like the body we was talking about the other day. The body, everybody has a body, but you know what I'm saying? The feet and the hands, they got their different functions, but it all comes necessary. You don't find out how necessary your knees is until something happens to your knees. You can't walk no more. They all play a role. We all have a role. We got to rebuild this body. You know what I'm saying? And one thing we did, we formed alliance with the Almighty Viceroy Nation. Think about this. Think about the genius of what Fred Hampton and them did when they organized with the street organization. Who knows that's what's going on in the streets? he said, look, they could be the problem or they could be the solution. You know what I'm saying? And one thing I found out with the Almighty Viceroy Nation, they want to do the same thing. They want to rebuild community because that's actually their history. We was told by the black. I remember when I first came, and the family was like, "Oh, that Black Panther, that Black Panther." Even her daughter, she didn't know nothing about him. But I told her I used to think the Black Panthers Party was racist because I saw somebody say that on TV. Never knew my own history, and then I find out they was a complete opposite. They was actually working with racist people like the Young Patriots and then converted them into revolutionaries that dropped the Confederate flag. We forgot to tell y'all that. You know what I mean? They dropped that. And they started to be about the community. They said, we got to all unite. We got to make sure we all protect each other. Think about that type of infrastructure. Ain't going to be no human trafficking. Ain't going to be no people coming up missing. When they had problems with domestic violence, the Panthers pulled up right there. What's up, brother? We're going to have to talk. But you ain't going to be doing this out here. Take a time out. The Vice Lords, same thing. The Stones, the same thing. Young Patriots Organization, the same thing. Young Lords, the same thing. The GDs, the same thing. They don't tell us about this type of history. What the Vice Lords was doing in the community, did y'all know that Martin Luther King lived in a Vice Lord neighborhood? Did y'all know that the Vice Lords, the GDs, and the Stones did his security? He trusted them more than the preachers up there. Why don't they tell us about that? That's part of Black history. You know what I'm saying? You know why? Because they was doing positive stuff. They was doing positive stuff. They want to call them gangs. They wasn't gangs. They was street organization. They had an LLC. They had buildings that was institutionalized and was protecting their community. They had an institution that was taking kids out of that lifestyle and let them go to the pool hall and play, getting them jobs. You know what I'm saying? So these are the things that we got to do today. You know what I'm saying? We got to rebuild it. It's going to be a process. But ask yourself, what am I doing to rebuild community? Because that's what we're going to keep on doing around the country. I can't wait till my brother up here, Katrina, she was like, I want two people to come. And I want the Vice Lords, specifically Main C, be the spokesman for the Vice Lords, Almighty Vice Lord Nation. And I can't wait till he come up and talk about what they doing in the community. And tell me if they again. We got to stop allowing people to lie to us about the ones that's actually the solution to our problems in the community. You know what I mean? So with that, I want y'all to all think about building this community again. We are the solution. All right now? All power to the people.
Just love me some him. Okay. Well, I was gonna give you an introduction, Main C, but I don't think I need to no more. So Main C, I did say that I have to have Main C there because without him, there is no us. Main C is. So I'm going to tell you in my words what Main C is, and then I'm going to let him introduce himself of what he is. Main C is the face of the Almighty Vice Lord Nation. And when I say that, a lot of people think Vice Lords. Oh my gosh, that's a gang. What's a gang? I'll wait. Who wants to give me a definition of gang? Okay, what's a gang? 3 people in one specific place or more, that's a gang. Okay, I like that. Oh, cousin, what's a gang? Almighty Vice Lord Nation.
The first thing that I thought about was a gang, gangsters, because of the wording of it.
Yes, yes,
Yeah, so
yes.
it just depends, but y'all think it's a good thing, right?
Yes. A gang to me, now that I've seen it, is not a gang, it's a street organization. So when we say an organization, what do we think about? We say something positive. We think it's an organization to promote more money, to promote the community, to promote. When you say organization, you think positivity, correct? When you say gang, you're like, oh, they out here selling dope, beating women, doing this. So for me, the Almighty Vice Lord Nation is a street organization, and Main C to me is the epitome of street organization. And he's the one that made our shirts. So I was surprised. And it has Tanaya in her. That's Tanaya. Yes. Taya's on the back. Thank you, Almighty Vice Lord Nation. Come on, Macy. I'm going to let you introduce yourself. I saved the best for last. I saved the best for last.
Peace and love, everybody. I guess the first thing to say is, to the families that's present that loved one is missing. My condolences, and hopefully y'all find some type of resolution to that. Obviously, you would want your loved one to be back, return to, in peaceful standards. But y'all stay strong and keep pushing. I admire, what I've seen today, because a lot of people couldn't come do that. You know what I'm talking about? So that says a lot about y'all, and that speaks to the character. So hopefully y'all can maintain that until the day comes that y'all are reunited with y'all loved one. I pray for you guys. That's the first part. And of course, I'll praise to Allah. The street gang thing. Let me just address that first. And I don't want to get off the topic of what this is about. But since it was mentioned, I am a member of the conservative vice board, what they commonly refer to as a street gang. But the thing that they never tell you is that we was forced into that position. You see what I'm saying? Because before the civil rights movement, before the Black Panther Party, there was vice lords. In 1957, a group of kids, 7 of them to be exact, St. Charles Group Home in Illinois, they banded together and they started an organization to stand up for Black people. At the time, there was a lot of racism going on with white gangs, Sicilians, there was a lot of Italians in the area of Chicago. So a lot of that was going on. So Edward Pepper up here, which is the founder of Vice Lord, he formulated Vice Lord. In the process of building it, he brought on some Islamic scholars, and those brothers, what they did was put a literature package together to where we had to learn it. Because one of the things that he realized was, in order to change the condition of our people, we had to educate ourselves. You see what I'm saying? So we was forced to educate ourselves, or we couldn't even be a vice lord. You see what I'm saying? So the stuff that y'all seen or heard about for whatever gang, I'm quite sure, because each gang has its own story. That wasn't the process. The process, it started off positive. Our government, the U.S. government, actually, COINTELPRO to be exact, started, behind the scenes, putting stuff in motion. So when we had these positive guys that was out here uplifting the community and showing us what to do, one, they either killed them, sent them to prison with sentences that I'm talking about look like football numbers. They started putting other little hotheads in play, telling them y'all the new leaders. They started bringing guns, they started bringing money, they started bringing drugs into the community. Automatically, you know what, that's going to cause turmoil. We all understand that's turmoil waiting to happen. So enough of that. In the process of this game, one of our leaders, El Rahim, Minister Rico, he was in prison actually doing a 100-year sentence. He looked out into the free world and understood that the process that was going on in the Black community could not continue to go. So he started a program called YAGA. That's what's on the front of his shirt, the YAGA. That stands for Youth Against Gang Activity. Now, what that was going to do was rebuild and rekindle the relationships in the Black community with our youth. Those are, that's the future. The leadership, all of these brothers
with all due respect to them that spoke before me, we got a date. We got a deadline. It's coming. It's coming. You know what I'm talking about? So what you're doing, if it's not motivating somebody else to come and do better than what you're doing, we're in trouble anyway. We're wasting our time. So we gotta, we have to galvanize these youth, these little kids. That little child has to understand that he's a future leader. That sister has to understand she's a future leader. So here at Yaga, that's what we try to do. I'm very vocal when it comes to kids and in the black community a lot. Not to discredit anyone else's community, but I live in the black community. I'm from there. The leadership there, it leads a lot of time. When we find people that find success, as soon as they get it, they gone from the hood. That's fine if you don't want to live there, but you got to come back and have some type of influence. These kids have to see success. They have to know what it is. You understand what I'm saying? They have to know what that is. So we focus on being that because I'm in the hood and I ain't going nowhere. I focus on being that. I want them to see me and understand. And that's a game. Remember, I have a lot of things going on with me. I have people with me that have a lot of things going on, and I want them to be able to see it. Because the moment they see that, they know, hey, that could be me. You know what I'm talking about? They know that could be me. We just started the domestic violence division of Yaga. My cousin here, she has her own organization in Milwaukee. But now she's an avid supporter of Yaga, so she has on the shirt. Now, this is new to me. I'm getting into it. The event that we're having here today, what I realized is it's tied in a lot of times to domestic violence. You know what I'm talking about? While the trafficking part is a major problem, it does exist. But I would guarantee you in most of these situations, there's a domestic issue dealing with missing people. You see what I'm saying? So would I say that? Most people that go missing, even though as a kid you wouldn't know, most people go missing, they know they're abducted. Simple as that. That's a domestic situation. Right then and there, it's domestic. They know them. Now, as a kid, the kid wouldn't know them, but the adult that took the kid, they know the kid. Still domestic. You see what I'm saying? All right. The other part of that is this. The brother touched on it. The old African proverb of it taking a village, it takes a village to raise a child. There's a second part to that. And that other part is if not, the child will burn the village down. You see what I'm saying? If not, the child will burn that village down. All right. What I'm saying is this: the responsibility to our community is all of ours. The police, we can bring them into it, and this is not a hate speech, but there is no police I've ever seen in the black community that was there to serve and protect us. I've never seen one. I've never seen one. You see what I'm saying? They have a job to do, and they do it at minimum as best. You see what I'm saying? They're not there. Just listen to the conversation. You heard the sister and the brother say that the police told them they done even conversation from them. That's what I got. What I took from what you said, we done talking to you. How do you have a missing person and you done talking? Like, make that make sense. But I don't expect nothing no different because you're not here to help anyway. You see what I'm saying? So if the people that are being paid by the tax dollars to help us isn't there to help us, then who do we have left? Ourselves. Ourselves. But what we got in today's age, we're so disengaged socially with each other, it don't make no sense. We're so disengaged, it don't make no sense. Sometimes, I mean, something as simple as an Android versus an iPhone can start a conversation to separate. You know what I mean? Something as minute as an Android versus an iPhone. Man, stop it. No, seriously, stop it, man. Stop it. Stop it, man. Like we here, we the people, we have to start taking ourselves more serious. We have to take ourselves more serious because I think that if we take ourselves more serious, then the accountability of doing more, we'll take that more serious. You see what I'm saying? Because as long as I'm able to run around and look like I'm doing something good, then I might be a person that's going to do exactly that. But if you hold me accountable, I can't do that no longer. Because now you're looking for a result. When you hold people accountable, you're looking for a result. I don't get to just say, well, hey, well, I'm gonna do this or X, Y, and Z and not do it. You want to see me do that now? Because the moment I don't do it, you're gonna say that fake. You know what I'm saying? He is a fraud. You're able to call me that. We gotta stop putting our in the black community especially, celebrities. Let me get to that. Celebrities. We hold our celebrities to a higher standard when they do little to help our community. They do little to help our community. We continue to hold them to a high standard. What I'm saying is, this sisters that have this issue with her child, that's my celebrity. This brother over here that had the issue with the child, that's my celebrity. Those are the people we got to get behind. Those are the people we got to get behind because our true strength is going to be found in what I'm able to do. I don't even know them. But my test is now, damn, man, what did you do to help? That's my test. And I understand that. The moment I heard it, I knew your test is what can you do to help? Now, I'm from Mississippi. I live in Mississippi. I'm 1,000 miles away from here. What I can do is limited from a physical aspect. But I can share a story. I can take what I heard here today back to where I'm going. You see what I'm saying? I can take it back because you don't know where this needs to go. You see what I'm saying? But that's the responsibility part of it. You see what I'm saying? We all have to do that. I don't want to hold y'all time. It's this situation. I'm glad the sister put this together. This is needed, and not just here. What's happening here now? It needs to go nationwide. We need to do this more often. We need to do this with regularity. We need to blanket America these type of situations right here, right here. And the reason I say that, did y'all say the police told you they were done talking? We ain't. We gonna keep talking. Yeah, we ain't. We gonna keep talking. So with that, peace and love y'all.
Oh, he gonna make me cry. Love means the main seat. You hear me? Just to like top it off, I don't even think I can top anything off with what you just said. But it's all about community. So we talked about the definition of why we're here. We talked about the history of why we're here. We've talked about the present and what we as families are going through. And then we talked about what we can do to change this. Okay. So at this point, I think it's important to recognize the people that are here and here that encompass all of the facets of missing people. I'm gonna let y'all introduce yourself because I think, again, like I said, it's the facets of all of the things that go along with missing. Of course, like I said, domestic violence, kidnapping, runaways. I think it's important to learn what what's the word I want to say? What we have as a community that we can look on upon for help with all of these situations. We'll start here with Miss Cynthia.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Can't hear you.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Hi, Miss Cynthia.
I'm Cynthia. I'm from Milwaukee, Wisconsin. It's funny. I'm gonna tell you this a little. It's funny how I got involved with this movement. My cousin Macy seen it on Facebook. He kept tagging my name. I didn't know what it was. So he said, you need to be there. And that's all he said. I said, okay, I'm going to reach out to her. I reached out to her. And she told me a little bit about the program that she want to put together. Hands down, I said, okay, Divine Women need to be there. Because we started Divine Women because I'm a survivor of sexual assault and domestic violence. And I needed advocates that look like me in the Black community because we don't have enough Black advocates in Milwaukee and around surrounding areas that we travel. None against the other races in here. But I need people to understand the movement behind domestic violence because it's not just physical, it's mentally, emotionally, spiritual, finance, control. It's a whole thing. And Divine Women covers trafficking. We have a teen summit program for runaway teens, teen moms. We have a sexual assault program, support group, sexual assault and domestic violence. We have a homeless outreach, so we stay busy. We have hotline. We have a couple of safe houses. We remove the ladies from the situation, so that's how deep we in with domestic violence. And we also provide them counseling service and rehabilitation and create a care plan for the ladies. What we try to do is make sure they have a better life than what they got now, so they can rehabilitate. Y'all more than welcome to take brochures. We have pens. You're more than welcome to them. Oh, and to the families that women's missing. Any way we can help, we put it on our platform. Y'all share your information so we can move from Milwaukee. We don't know anything else. And I want to thank Katrina for inviting us.
I have to say this too. She drove all the way from Milwaukee. Okay? Yeah. And that's not just to say that from her. You drove all the way from South Carolina, correct? They drove all the way from Mississippi. Like, these are dedicated people that are in this fight with us, so we're not alone. I can tell you this, I felt so alone, and no disrespect to my family. I felt alone when Kai went missing. I felt alone. I felt alone for a very, very long time. But then when I started talking to people and people started talking to me, including my family, they're here. They're here. How do you drive from Milwaukee? It ain't no way I'm driving from Milwaukee. Just saying, just saying. So, right. So now we're going to talk to Miss Vanessa about Hush No More, and I'm going to let her introduce what Hush No More is about.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Dr. Vanessa.
Oh,
And that's okay. That's okay. I'm Dr. Vanessa, and I am a survivor of military sexual trauma. And I started an organization called Hush No More because I realized there's a lot of trauma, including my own trauma, that we never share that happens in our community. And when you don't talk about it, when you don't get help, we struggle as a community. And we see that. We see the effects of all the trauma in our community. And so I focus on sexual assault, domestic violence, human trafficking, child sexual abuse, incest, all of those things that we need to talk about in our community. You can stand up together, but if you don't solve the individual problems that individuals have, we're going to fail as a community. And I can't wait to talk to each and every one of you. If you need any support, we are here. I travel around the world because I believe that awareness plus knowledge equals prevention. You can't prevent something that you don't know that's happening in your community. You can't prevent it at all. And I want parents to know that children are going missing, but how do we protect that? What does a trafficker look like? Can somebody tell me what a trafficker look like? School teachers, principals, their best friends, right? The guys and the girls that they're dating are setting them up. If nobody don't tell you that you can't trust your friends and your teachers, then how do you know to prevent something? That's how trafficking is happening. And they're going missing. Friends, they'll pay this girl to say, bring all your friends to the party. Then they drug them, and these girls end up in places like Atlanta, California, and out of this country. And we have a worldwide problem because human trafficking is just not in our communities. It's all over the world. Kids are coming from China to here, and our children are going to Africa and China. So if we don't stand up and talk to our children and how to protect them and build those relationships in the home, our children are going to go missing. The other problem is we talked about domestic violence. As a community, if you don't show love and kindness to people and you talk about them about, oh yeah, she get beat up by her boyfriend, her man hurt her, yeah, his girlfriend beat him up, they're never going to come forward and get out of the relationship. As a community, we're part of the problem. You have to show love and kindness and say, what can I do for you? What do you need from me? Not, girl, you crazy for staying in that relationship. You have to open the door with love so that they can get out of the situation. But they don't get out because we don't open the door and we talk about them and make them feel guilty, or they feel like they can't come and talk to us because of the slick, smart things we've said. We have to change that, and we have to be able to say, I am a resource to my brother and my sister and to my child. So many people come to me and say, I can't tell my mama this, I can't tell my brother this. That shouldn't be the case. So as a community, I need you to be able to say these things. How can I help you? What do you need from me? And if they don't want the help, it's okay, but they know that you're an open door. And you can say there are organizations and resources. Would you like for me to connect you? That is my goal, to be in the community so you know who I am, so you feel comfortable. I operate all around the world, and I support all of those who need help. So it's not just in my own personal community. If you need me, I am here, and I will do anything to be able to help you. And you could just reach out on social media. It's Hush No More. And I love all of you all. Peace and blessings to you. And that's all I got.
Now I'd actually like to open the floor to any questions that you may have to any of us, the families, different families, the groups, all of them, including Yaga. Don't be scared. Do you guys have any questions? Okay.
The lady, the lady, sorry for pointing, yes. You said that y'all saw somebody that looked like her and y'all went and, which y'all was looking at pictures and stuff. Have y'all reached out to this girl to talk to them?
Oh my God, this has actually been, I want to say it was a few months, but this has actually been going on since 2020. And I reached out to her, and there's just so many strange situations about her life and we've talked, Miranda has actually talked to her mom. She told Miranda that she was actually blind for 6 months after her daughter. There's just so, I mean, I could just go on and on and on telling you about the connections. The problem I have is that there is just so many coincidences. And I just still feel in my heart that the police are lying to us until they figure out how this child went missing for so long. It was all over the media at the time. It was a really big deal. And the FDLE was involved, the FBI was involved, and they were all running around like the Keystone Cops. They did not go and get this girl DNA off her job with DCF. Remind you, she has a child of her own. But they did it, and it was not because of pictures. I actually went to Missing and Exploited and asked them to help me. And I told them that me and my mom had given the pictures and they weren't doing anything. And Missing and Exploited told me then that they had someone that could do facial recognition. So that's why I believe they went and got her. One of the things that I just want to say is that they also told me recently. Let me just tell you this. It's so much. 20 years worth of stuff. They actually, after a year, it took me calling the sheriff's office because Bartow Police Department, they tell you you have to speak with the department that was handling the case, which is Bartow Police Department. Well, they wouldn't do anything. I actually went up to because I hadn't gotten any feedback from the detective when I reached out to him and sent him all of these pictures of this girl. And they were born on the same day. And I mean, the pictures are identical right down to the curvature in the lips. And I mean, just little things in her face. So anyway, got to run around, and finally, I had gotten so fed up with it, I just went to Sheriff Grady Judd, the sheriff department, because, Grady will get some stuff done. Right. And so I called them and I told them the Bartow Police Department was not doing anything, and, told them what, all the information that I had given them and everything. Well, maybe a few weeks after that, then bam, they go on this girl's job. They didn't even contact us. The girl calls me on social media and says, "Oh, where you live at? I'm coming to your house because these people are on my job and I'm not your granddaughter." I mean, she's nutting up because these people they were so convinced themselves that this was her, that they went on this girl's job to get her DNA. And then they tell us it'll take 2 months to get the DNA back. So we wait 2 months, almost 2 months to the day, they call Miranda in to get a sample. Now we need the mother sample. Okay, well, what did you compare the first sample to? Right. Okay, so they compared it to something. And the detective also said, well, we got our results back yesterday, but FDLE says test the mother. So we test the mother, and we wait 2 more months. But Miranda kept getting impatient. I told her, leave it alone, let them work on it, let them work on it. So she called the Exploited and Missing Children, which these two are working together, Bartow Police Department and Exploited and Missing Children. She calls Exploited and Missing Children and say, hey, look, if y'all don't do something, I'm gonna go get her, and I'm going to
do a DNA test on our own. And 30 minutes after that call, the detective called and told Miranda that the results were that was not her. It was negative. Now we've been waiting months but 30 minutes after she tells that she's gonna go and do it on her own, now they call and say it's
Two
not her.
times with two different detectives because now another detective is on the case. I went and tried to get these lab results that they would send a man in the mail if he got a DNA test. They still will not let me see.
No, they won't show us a actual lab result. What they're showing us is something that says, so basically a statement. The detective gave us that. I wouldn't leave it alone. I kept calling in fact, I called the state attorney and I'm like, why can't they just show us a lab report? I know what a lab report looks like. It has the profile of the child on one side and the profile of the parent on the other side. And then there's markers that you can compare that go together. So I know what it looks like. Well, he calls around, okay, we're gonna show you the test. And we go in and they show us the same thing that the detective showed us, and then one of the detectives, they're trying to find out what happened that night. Now this happened 20 years ago, so they're not looking for a 20-year-old. They're still trying to find out what happened that night. Well, she ain't where she was that night,
Right.
no matter what. And so he says to me, well, Teresa, what do you think about this paper here? And I'm like, look like the same thing y'all had before. It just got MDLE on the top of it because there's no test result. And so that's where we are.
Ms. Vanessa, I have something to say. I want to answer you. The reason why they won't give you a report is a HIPAA violation. It's her privacy. And she
agreed to it and Miranda also.
But did you see it in writing? Because if she said, I'm not your grandchild, right?
They went on her job.
Yeah, but she has to release her DNA to you.
Can I tell you this? And I don't mean, but I just spoke with a detective not even a week ago. And I told him that she specifically, the young lady who I think could be my daughter, told me that they sent the DNA test in her mother's mailbox. First of all, she's 21 years old. So they didn't send your mom anything. The detective told me, I can reassure you, they have not seen anything. So there you go.
But you see what I'm saying though? They're not going to ever release it to you because of the HIPAA, and they could get in trouble for releasing her DNA. You see what I'm saying? So, and they're not going to explain that part to you. They're just trying to like blow you off and not tell you everything. But legally, they cannot give you her DNA. Does that make sense?
But I do know that they said that they have not given her nothing.
Right.
Period.
But I'm talking about for you. They're not going to ever give it to you. But that report that you want, the breakdown, they're not going to give it to you. They legally cannot release that to you. So how you? I'm just telling you the law. Because this is what I do. I'm telling you, if I was on your case, I would be honest with you and I would tell you. They're just not being honest with you. The law states that you cannot share that information. Now I don't know why they didn't share it with her. Yeah, but there in that case, like when I'm processing, I would not give you that DNA, what you're asking for. Legally, I can't. So I want you to know that. So from her side, I don't know, but for you, I would never release that to you because it's her private information. Does that make sense?
Agreed. However, because I do genealogy and my cousins have done genealogy and my aunts have done genealogy, we can always get our DNA through Ancestry. I got you. Right. I didn't get that. All she can do is say yes or no. So, are there any other questions or any answers that anybody else wants to give or talk about? Tina? Fidencio? Yes.
I don't have any questions, but I just want to say, Trina, I really appreciate you putting this together. I wish I had invited more people to come. I really appreciate everybody that spoke and consider myself to be a good person, but just listening to the work that you guys are doing just really lets me know that I'm not doing enough. So it makes me feel really excited to go onto your website and see what you guys are doing and figure out how I can be part of what's happening. Because it is our community and we're the only ones that can fix it, as Nancy so eloquently said.
Absolutely.
Thank you all for being here.
Absolutely. So, where's my husband with his 2-second talking? So, next we're going to talk about those that bought tickets for our raffle and what you're going to get. Yeah. Again, I want to thank everybody that came out because you did not have to be here, but you were. I'm going to give another shout out to Donna, who put all this together. Thank you very much. I love you. And I'm just going to give y'all the tea on who Donna is to me. Okay, now y'all going to want to hear this. Y'all are really going to want to hear this. Are y'all listening? It's weird, but it's good. A lot of people are going to say, are you for real? Like, for real? So, I have 4 kids. 3 of my kids are with my baby daddy. And Donna has 2 kids. And Donna's kids are from my baby daddy. So, me and Donna are sister wives. We are the same baby mamas with the same baby daddy. But Donna is my dog. Like, Donna is the best stepmom I could ask for with my kids. They are like, I love you, Donna. Like, Donna is their second mom. Donna is the shit. Donna is it. I love my Donna, and as you can see, she can put together everything. So, where is my husband? Okay, so Donna, you can come up. Yeah, and I'm gonna let you get the tickets. Yes. Okay. So I'll let you pick the prizes, Donna. Yeah, we don't put you out there on Front Street, dog. Too late. Donna's doing it. Okay. No. All right. So when she says it, pick the prizes, give it to her. Oh, my shot. Yes. Yeah, that's right. I can't see.
Okay, all right, there we go. Teresa G.
Teresa G. Oh, Griffin. I'm thinking Teresa G. They're coming up. Right.
Everybody give a round of applause for the first winner of the day. And we appreciate everybody that contributed to the raffle giveaway. What we doing, we trying to get a billboard for the missing. Like I said, they not helping us at all. We gotta do it ourselves. And this was us contributing to help solve some of these issues in our community to promote these cases. You know what I mean? Okay, me, Donna.
Donna.
Hey guys. It's okay. You can't see. I'm shy. He's still with me.
Oh, this is mine.
Nice.
Tina.
Oh, yeah. You want to give her your ticket? And then Vicky, you want.
All right, all right. Third winner is
NCO. Look at it, back to back.
Very good. You give her. Yep. And then you want.
This is number 2. All right. Fourth winner, Tracy. Whatever you want. Whatever you want.
Yep. Big one.
Yeah, the whole bucket.
The whole bucket. Yep. Oh no. That's right.
We know who Cora gonna be looking nice this summer. That's a gift card. Yeah. Yeah.
I didn't buy it. We didn't buy it.
I know I bought some for you.
Oh, okay. But what about?
Well,
Okay, go.
my fault. I thought that'd be extra bags for the airplane. You know, we just go to the store and get that. Bounce! Bounce out!
Hey, woo! You got the ticket?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. You gotta pick one. You gotta pick one for both. Yep.
Next winner, Teresa.
Which one?
It's just Teresa.
So that's Teresa May.
Ain't no Teresa G. T-H. I-T. Yeah, anyway.
The next winner is
Francis.
Katrina. Francis, who's Francis?
Francis.
Oh.
I got them all. Next winner is Tracy. Hey, and after we leave, we'll have Tracy get a lottery ticket for us. We got 2 more.
Thank you.
Both.
Oh, wow.
Oh, we got you getting a lottery ticket. All right, Tracy getting our lottery ticket. We all about to get this money. We gonna have billboards everywhere.
One more.
And the last one, is it Tracy or Boss? And the last one. Okay, the last one is Keela.
Oh, she left already.
Can somebody give it to her?
No. Yeah, my mom.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, she already left.
All right. And this is the last one right here. Keela.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
All right, that's it. Last one.
Oh, Lord, I'm good, I'll eat it.
Okay, Cheyenne. And the gift card.
Oh, Lord.
I think that's it. Is there anything that I forgot, need to talk about, or does anybody else want to talk about anything? So I'm gonna put the spotlight on Cassandra Manning because she has not talked today, and I think it's very important that she talks. Okay, so we're done. Thank you, everybody, for coming out. And I do want to make it. I want everyone to be aware that this is an annual event. This is not the first and not the last event. So we're gonna have our next event in Indianapolis. And it will be February 3rd of 2024, and we will invite everybody there that we need to invite and have you guys come out and help us.
Thanks to everybody coming to support these families. Like I said, we the answer. We the answer. Thanks.
I didn't realize that they were actually creating a billboard and raising money for that. So if you would like to donate outside of buying a raffle ticket, I'm leading the way and donating to them. If you haven't, it's not necessary, but I think it'd be amazing if we can donate to their organization and actually support families of those who go missing. So just think about it, but I really appreciate all that you all done, and you came out of your pocket. This is amazing, okay? So let's join together as a community and be able to support the work that they're doing.
I didn't think about saying that, but the reason for the raffle is to get a billboard in two communities, Orlando and Tampa, so we can have. I think it's important that if we. I think it's important that we have our missing people's picture on a billboard, especially like I said, the Tampa and Orlando area, so everyone is aware of our missing loved ones. So if you want to donate, that's where the raffle money is going to. And again, thank you very, very much for coming out. Please get you some food. Take it home with you because we can't take it on the plane. I forgot to play our theme song. Listen, wait. You have to hear our theme song. Hold on. So I gotta stop this. Seriously. No, we taking all this off. Listen, y'all listen.
Travel through the storm, cause I know the sun is shining. I'll be good like 18 wheels on this motherfucking big. Now the struggle goes and I talk to them so big. It's the people I just wanna see my big cut the truth is hard to find. No joke, pour up a toast for all I miss. Na 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 na. Shout out to my comrade. It's like me, I gravitate towards people like me. They struggle to be my struggle. So consequently, I be going good on this and people go peace to the system. Shout out to the families with their victims still standing up the mission, making plans for the It's all about your vision, yeah, man. I'm on the front line. And we presenting your memories of melody. 3 years ago, the last time they saw fire, and they see for the one morning with my mama. JR said she dropped them off at a friend's house. Twin Cities since that day, nobody know the whereabouts. My car was now empty, running on the train track. Somebody called the police to the scene, and they drove past. Cops approached the car, heard the engine sound. Right by the driver door, phone was on the ground. Called the county sheriff, report what they saw. Knew the car to the side of the road and turned it off. Even the search party, them dirty dogs, women are beating the dirty. Some guys look at this guy. Making the movement of my name from the money and fire. See the fire and I'm trying to see you stop like the seas between the boots on the ground. Like that, you breezy. He wheels on the small dog. Now the struggle is in my life. So many missing people, I just want to see my big good. That truth is hard to find. No joke, but to all I'm missing. Nah, 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 nah. Hey, listen, 600,000 people go missing. 4,400 people.
Yeah, I'm speaking to whoever I want.
Percentage, man, I got to spread the message. No one is be the mission. All the cousins went missing up in Plant City. We spoke on highest disappearance, no kidding. Kill it. Was another one of those people for the shine is early with you. To the north, travel through the storm, cause I know the sun is shining. 18 wheels on small. People just want to see my big cut the truth is hard to find. No joke, pour up a toast for all. I'm missing both. Na 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 na. To the door, trouble to the store, cause I know the sun is shining. 18 wheels on small, big, now the struggles in my so many missing people, I just wanna see my big cut the truth is hard to find. No joke, pour up a toast for all I miss. Na 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 na. To my comrade, it's like me, I gravitate towards people like me. They struggle, be my struggle. So consequently, I be from the middle, missing people go peace to the system. Shout out to the families with their victims still standing on the mission, making flowers grow from concrete. It's all about the vision, yeah, man. I'm on the front line, and we presenting your memories of melody. 3 years ago, the last time they saw Kaya in Day City, Florida, was reported from my mama. JR said she dropped them off at a friend's house. Plant City since that day, nobody know her whereabouts. Her car was found empty, running on the train track. Somebody called the police to the scene and they drove past. Cops approached the car, heard the engine sound. Right by the driver, though her phone was on the ground. Called the county sheriff, report what they saw. Moved the car to the side of the road and turned it off. Ain't even like a search party, them dirty dogs. Women are getting abducted and that ain't concerning y'all. That's why her sister Katrina making the movement in her name. From the love she's bleeding. See the fire in her eyes, can't be stopped like the seasons. Katrina's boots on the ground, let that be the reason. Yeah, to the door, travel through the storm, cause I know the sun is shining. I'll be feeling like 18 years on small. Now the struggle is in my
Talk to me so you get some people. I just wanna see me. Cause the truth is hard to find. No joke, more of a toast for all I'm missing. Go, na 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 na. Hey, this is 600,000 people go missing. 4,400 people about my statistics. The odds of us falling off over 0.7%. Man, I gotta spread the message. Awareness be the mission. Veronica went missing up in Plant City. We smoke both fires, disappearance, no kidding. Kill it. Was another one of those victims from the shine. We with ya. To the north, travel through the storm. Cause I know the sun is shining. Cause I be feeling like 18 wheels on a small fucking wheel. Now the struggle goes in my life. Talk to them so I really missing people. I just wanna see people. Cause the truth is hard to find. No joke, more of a tough all I'm missing.
Alright, so you're coming with us. Orlando.
Where's that?
This is one of the cousins that I told you earlier to show us that our town. Now she's back. No, no. I bought an outfit just well, no, I ran away when I was 17.
When was it reunited? The right time. We said things like, that is it. She was the one that he took my other side.
We're gonna make it to the house now.
Okay. Full like that? Oh, that's what that part. Oh man, what I do about that? TikTok, I think it's not bad. TikTok. Right, so 16 My brother.